Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. So, at least I can wear this shirt in public again. Now, Shotzi's WWE contract release was a heartbreak for me. And it was a heartbreak for me because of the simple fact that that was something I followed in Shotzi's career for her dream. That was something she dreamed of. It was part of her goal to go to WWE. And it was crushed because of something of a heart condition. And no one should have to deal with that. However, with Kross, this was a letdown, but only on the fact of WWE made the mistake. But the convenience of it. If you have not watched the documentary of The Killer, Kross just put out a part 2 documentary of The Killer, where he basically talks about more of the situation leading up to SummerSlam, which includes, obviously, more information about the infamous viral pipe bomb moment. So let me bring up the speed on that. First of all, if you have not bought his book, please do that. I have bought the digital copy of his book for now until I can own a hard copy of the book, which he narrates himself, of course. However, I knew it was a work. You have to understand the fact of what Kross said in that moment in that video. It's all about viral moments. Viral moments is what gets your recognition in that sense of it. And guess what he was doing? A viral moment. So for those out there who were shocked that, oh, it was a work, you couldn't have known it was a work. Oh no, he laid it cleared out there that it was a work. And you had to put the pieces together to understand it. That's the only thing that. And with the news of his contract ending, along with Scarlett, it seems like the renewal of the contract isn't a possibility. There are some people that are speculating that they're getting a new contract offered, but Scarlett posted a tweet, which basically talks about her thinking being in the company and such, and then showing her booking of email to say, let's make the smoke show happen. Obviously, that means you're not renewing your contract. The moment that a wrestler is released from WWE or any other main promotion and they start putting their email for bookings, it's a done deal. Kross doesn't have to post it, but Scarlett did. That sold enough for me to say it's official. So unless Sean Ross of Fightful had actually confirmed that a contract has been offered to both Kross and Scarlett, that's not happening. But see, here's the thing, and this is why I said this of this situation. There's two reasons why I am grateful that this contract with Kross and Scarlett ended. Could be a blessing in disguise. Now, before you out there start saying something on the case of, oh, you know, he might not go to AEW. I'm not saying AEW is the goal. On one end, that company has changed 5 years ago from when it was that they offered, when it was a possibility that people thought he was going to sign with that company when he got released the first time. At that time, that company was not in solid ground yet. So it made sense why he would not consider going to that company. That company has now sustained itself as a company now. It has. So now with that happening, there could be a possibility, a change in that has happened. A lot has happened since the fallout from Brawl Out from All Out with Punk and the relationship with Punk in that company. A lot has changed with that company. They have stated this over and over again, that there's a lot of solidarity in that company now and a more peaceful mediation in that company and the environment of that company since then. So if progress is there, we're going to take that into consideration. So for all we know, that still might be an option open if it does. Also, the fact that there are several other promotions, you have to remember that Kross has also have loyalty with GCW, specifically like with Bloodsport, MLW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. There is so many opportunities of Kross and Scarlett when it comes to all those promotions beyond AEW. So don't think for a second that him not coming back to WWE means he's going to go to AEW. Do not think that's going to be the possibility. That may not be that possibility, but never say never. Now, when it comes to Kross, the other reason, I think it's a convenience that their contract ended, and this stipulation situation of a shithead like Brock Lesnar coming back is a good situation. I mentioned before in my podcast on the fact that Scarlett had to deal with a sexual situation of harassment at TNA when Don Callis was associated with that company and she was working there, which is why TNA is not an option for Kross and Scarlett ever, as long as Don Callis has some association. And that's also the reason why AEW is still also an option not to happen either, because of Don Callis. Because there was something that happened with Don Callis that revolved around that situation with Scarlett. And Kross is a protector of his wife. So I feel like that's the reason why both of those companies are not a possibility. Unless Don Callis has no relation with that company, I don't see it happening. But New Japan, Defy, GCW, all of those are options that definitely can be taken into consideration when it comes to Karrion Kross. And I think Brock Lesnar coming back to the WWE, even for this stint with John Cena's farewell tour, that's a convenience to keep Scarlett away. And I feel like that's what's going to be. So, with that being stated, I feel like that was an opportunity of easy disarray to that point. I feel like that with the first documentary, Kross was being held back in WWE. I loved the work he had done with WWE in Main Event. I love the work that he had done in NXT. He will always have that in the sense of it. However, I truly feel that he was held back a lot of times in WWE. I truly do. The potential and greatness for that man wasn't really put into the situation. And for all you out there who want to make the situation and say, hey, what really benefit from Kross? Why are you cheering from Kross? You only say that because most of you are either Brock Lesnar fans or most of you don't really give a shit about Kross in the first place to say what you want. You're Roman Reigns fans most likely. You're Brock Lesnar fans mostly. You're Hogan fans for all we know. You're mostly the people who are the bad type of wrestling fans you are, because you would understand the potential of what Kross has and what could come of that. Especially if you didn't think his NXT run was anything of significantly brilliant. So you naysayers who have to hate about Kross, you can miss me with that bullshit. So, with this era of Kross ending in WWE, unless there's an opportunity of a new contract being made for them, I truly believe that Kross's journey in WWE has come to an end, but I feel like it was necessary on the sense of now he can do more creatively outside of WWE than he was not possibly able to do in that company. And the fact that that company didn't push to a point where it's showing attention, they all show that. The simple fact of Triple H hearing people chant at SummerSlam, "We want Kross," and he's saying, "You want Brock," significantly says it all. And Kross doesn't have to lose, doesn't have to have upset about it. He doesn't. That's how that is. So now, what does that leave us? The people who were let down on the fact that we will not get to see Kross in the sense of it. Now we do the hard work on his indie run. New Japan Pro Wrestling, GCW, MLW, Defy Wrestling, Prestige Wrestling, Progress Wrestling. Doesn't matter what promotion he goes to significantly, we need to support him there and see the benefit of why WWE made the mistake in not giving that push to that man, as we stated many times before. They heard us. They just never changed And that's their fault, not ours. We did all we could. We bought the shirts. We showed the rallies. We made the signs. We chanted more and more and more. We made the fucking hashtag. We, members of the Kross cult, did that. And the only people who need to be blamed for this is Hunter. And if it solidifies you already on their hatred for WWE, even after the Brock Lesnar situation, let that grow and marinate to you. But don't sway of the support to Kross. Show the WWE that they made the mistake to not offer another contract to that man and his wife, and show the world and WWE that of what a credible work that Kross's body of work speaks for. That is what we need to do. That is what Kross would want us to do. Still show that gravitas of respect and support to his work outside of WWE. We bought the books. We watched the interviews. We see it. All we have to do now is let people still know about that when it comes to Kross. And if they don't see it, if WWE didn't see it, that's their loss. And it's funny. The one guy that we all cheer for and ask for from WWE, they don't want to push. Yet they'll push every other villain in WWE we never asked for. We get Fatal Influence. We didn't ask for that. We get the culling. We never asked for that. The run of John Cena's heel run was atrocious to many of us. We didn't ask for that. But when a real bad guy like Karrion Kross, we ask for, and we don't get it, it tells you right there WWE never listened in the first place. So, to my fellow members of the Kross cult who's been there since the indies of his career, which like I was, because I was a fan of his early in his debut of Impact Wrestling on TNA. It's time we go to work. Still show the support to this man. Still show the support for his wife. And let them know, and including WWE, they made the grave mistake, and time's ticking on their end that they will regret what they made in the mistake. TikTok.